Hey guys, what's up? I'm gonna do another eBay antique unboxing. Let's see what's inside. Let's get it opened. Yes, I got new gloves, new hooker gloves, because the other ones were a disaster. I actually melted them. The fingertips got melted, and I tried to reglue them. I tried to resew them, and I'm not a very good sewer or seamstress. And so these just came in the mail today. Let's see how long these will last. Hopefully more than one or two unboxings. Oh my goodness, look at this. Now this is a seller on eBay that I'm actually doing business with again. I liked the last transaction so much. Oh my goodness, look at this. You get it's like a present. Oh, how adorable. That is the most adorable thing. It looks like a little, yep, it's a tree ornament. And the funniest thing is, my husband just bought these little elves or whatever. What do you call it? Gnomes. That I said was ugly, and it looks just like this Santa over here. All right, so there we go. Actually, it has little beanies in here, like it's like heavy, like a bean bag. So not only do I get a thing from eBay, I get a free ornament. My husband's gonna, maybe I'll just like wrap this up and give it to him for Christmas. Yeah, that's how much of a cheapskate I am. So look at this. We have like a Chinese wonton container. So when you do YouTube videos, now a lot of YouTubers who have a huge following, I don't know how in the hell they can actually make these videos if they live in a house with other people, because every time I hit the record button on my cell phone, somebody comes in the kitchen, somebody walks around. All right, so we got this wonton type of box. I call it wonton takeout, Chinese to go. And the funny part was, the seller is Chinese because her name was like a Chinese name. Okay, so let's check it out. Oh, how nice is this? May your days be merry and bright. I could sure use that, trust me. Oh, we need a scissor. Okay, wait. Got the scissor. I'm always prepared, always prepared. And I don't want to cut the thumb of my glove off. I just got the damn things. And you know what the funny part is? My husband's like, you shouldn't be opening all these things because Christmas, then you're going to have nothing to open. And I'm like, I can't wait. There's no way in hell I can wait. All right, so let's see. What did I get this time around? Holy cow, this thing is huge. Oh, of course, the lighting's got to be a douche. Hold on. Oh, damn it. Wait, hold on. Oh my God, this is absolutely beautiful. And wow, look at that mounting on it. Look how it shines. This actually, okay, I cheated. I did a gold test on it and I did clean it. I'm not going to lie. It was like all tarnished from age, and it had a lot of like dirt built up into the little wire on the sides. And so I cleaned it with a little Simicrone, and I did test it with a gold acid test. And it turns out that it is 10 karat gold, unmarked. And most of these 9 or 10 karat gold brooches or pieces of jewelry from the Victorian era were not marked. Now, what we have here is almost like a French court noble lady, something like a Marie Antoinette, Madame Pompadour, Lady Devonshire, like a Princess Lamballe. And we have this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous hand-painted rose design on the bottom. This is hand-painted. You can see, look at the raised brush strokes on this. Yes, you can see it's hand-painted. It's not as pretty as my other one, but it's much larger from the same seller. Now, what's cool is that, again, I scored and I got another gold piece. Now, how to tell the age of these, I am not an expert, so don't go, saying, oh, you don't know what you're talking about if you are a real expert on these sort of things. I'm trying to change the lighting here with my camera. Okay, and it's not working, but you can see, actually, there we go. That is just a beaut. Now, the backing. You can generally tell by the backing. Let's check out the backing on this one. We'll turn it around. I didn't clean the back. I should have. Now it's a convertible, so that it actually alternates as a pendant as well. So this is a convertible. So it's also a brooch and a pendant. Now, what you can tell by trying to date your porcelain is look for the catch. If it's a C-shaped catch, it's from the Victorian. It could be from the Georgian era all the way to the Victorian. Now, yeah, this is very old. My guess, and I'm no expert again, is anywhere between the 1870s to about the 1890s. Now, we have this gorgeous, 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 if you look close, really high quality porcelain placard. Now, where were most of these porcelain miniature portraits made? Well, most of them were made in France or in Germany, well, mostly Europe. But the most common would be Dresden, an area of Germany called Dresden, which they made Dresden porcelain, or Limoges in France. And so you'll see also other companies that were really good porcelain makers in France by the name of, I'm going to get it wrong, Sèvres, and I think it's spelled Sevres. Other companies all throughout France that made high quality porcelain. And again, in Germany and Europe. I do not know. I'm going to guess this is a French piece. Not necessarily Limoges, but Limoges isn't a brand. It was an area in France that had a multitude, many, many, many porcelain factories. Now, a brooch like this being so big, now you can see from my hand, would generally be an earlier piece. When I say earlier piece, before the 20th century. Pretty much after the 20th century, from about the Edwardian era on, things got smaller, less opulent, less oversized, and they were trying to move away from the gaudy Victorian era where everything was big and large and oversized. Now, have you seen, don't mind me. As you have seen in many of my other videos, I showed you these particular brooches before if you're a follower of my channel. These are all Victorian. And actually from the mid-Victorian to the very, very late Victorian. We have these other portrait brooches over here. Very, very quite beautiful. We have famous ladies. Lady Devonshire. She was one of the noble people in the royal court and made out of porcelain, hand-painted. Then we have this person who is actually after a painting by an artist by the name of Gustav Richter, who in the 1870s created Neapolitan gypsy boy paintings. And this is actually a rendition of one of his famous Neapolitan gypsy boys. And I'm not sure if another artist of the same time frame of Gustav Richter painted this particular little boy in almost like a Tyrolean hat or Tyrol type of hat. But he is Neapolitan, he is Italian, and he's a boy. And a lot of people think this particular character that you find a lot on these miniature portrait brooches are girls, but it's actually a boy. Now over here we have the other piece that I bought from the seller, the same seller. And you can see that this one is bigger than it. I paid a little more for it, unfortunately. But what's cool is that these are just really oversized and large and convert into necklaces as well. As you can see, I placed a necklace in the little loop and created a pendant. Now we have this old piece here too. Again, probably from the 1870s. This is Lady Devonshire. Again, same lady. Just different portrait from a famous artist that they actually copied after or made it after the famous artist. And you can see a glass panel covering it. This one was done on ivory with precious gold. I got this for $5.95. The seller had no clue what its value was, but it's a pendant and not a brooch. Now we have this one, this enormous one, which is most likely French. It has some French writing on the back of it, hand painted of, again, another French court lady. And when I say court, meaning of nobility who served on the royal court. And there was a lot of these really, really highfalutin ladies that, like Lady Pompadour, and again, all the ladies I mentioned before, Marie Antoinette, and so on and so forth. Now, this is just a generic portrait of a lady. I'm guessing it could be one of these French type of royal court people, or it could just be just one of those pretty lady portraits. Again, you can see it's hand painted. Some of them were transfer wear, and transfer wear is when they place the decal. they would place a decal over the porcelain and actually like rub it on, and then they would paint over it. And no, this is definitely hand painted, which is great. The transferware ones, of course, are worth less. Let's find out more information about brooches that were made during the Victorian era by looking at other different examples. Now, anything of miniature portrait on porcelain, ivory, vellum, celluloid, parchment paper, well, not parchment, but card, and stuff like that, other materials, even mother of pearl, are actually highly sought after. Anything in miniature of a portrait, especially on portrait plaques, are really, really, really sought after. And it doesn't have to be jewelry. A lot of them were put in frames. And so they were placed in frames, really fancy, like French frames made of gold gilding. And people spend a lot of money on those. $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $800. Now, is a brooch worth more? Well, now that we know that this is 10 carat, I would not sell this for less than, I'm going to go with, and I'm just giving a guesstimate, since it's the size is so enormous, I wouldn't sell this for less than $5 to maybe $600 to $700. Does that mean it's going to sell for that price? The answer is yes, but it would take many years. It's not something that flips quickly, if you know what I mean. So if you're a flipper watching my channel and you find one of these at a thrift shop, good luck to you, because you probably won't. You'll find a 1950s actually revival or a 1980s revival piece, mostly transferware. You'll see ones marked Lamages, but Lamages porcelain was made as late as the 50s and the 60s. Don't expect to sell this quickly. And if you're going to sell it on eBay, the most you can probably get for something like this is probably like $150. On other sites such as Ruby Lane, Etsy, First Dibs, and stuff like that, you will definitely get your price for it. Or if you have a really, really well, like a really good online internet antique shop with nothing but high-end stuff, you will find a much more wealthier clientele. Now, again, I was telling you guys a bit, be careful about the later revival pieces, the pieces that actually look like they're old, but they're really not. So, for example, these ones were made in the 1960s. Now, these ones aren't very good, but to someone who doesn't collect them, you would think these actual renditions of these ladies are actually quite well done, but they're not. And so here's more of them. And you'll find them in thrift stores a lot. And a lot of them will be marked with a name, Florenza, on the back. Those are generally 1960s, so keep away from the Florenza ones, although they are collectible. Here's some examples of, now, transfer. Again, transfer was generally like a decal placed on the porcelain, and they actually painted over it. So it would be hand painted and transferware as well. Those ones not worth as much as the completely hand painted ones. Here's a Victorian one that is all hand painted with a gold tone frame. And you'll see many, many, many other ones set in carved mother of pearl, not only brass or gold or precious metal. Here's another one on a porcelain disc. This one being a larger size one, Victorian. And this one is a transferware, but is Victorian era. And it was just a decal that was painted over. But here's a hand-painted one. And this one is definitely Victorian. And another transfer on porcelain. And again, you have to be careful if you're collecting these type of things. I'm trying to like zoom in to show you better, because filming my computer screen is not a good thing. But you will see a lot of transfer. Let's see if we can blow this up so I could show you. And there you go. You'll see like a lot of times little thousands of dot matrix dots going throughout the piece. And generally that's telling you have a piece of transferware. Also, when collecting these miniature portraits on porcelain, always make sure, in any material, even ivory or anything else, make sure there's no flaking or scratches. This one has a lot of flaking and scratches on it. You want to get a better example of it without scratches or damage to the actual picture. And here's some other ones you will see. And again, you got to be careful of the condition. This one is definitely Victorian, but the problem lays in the fact that it has a crack going down the front. People will still buy them, but for way less money. although it's probably from the 1870s or so. Nobody wants one with a crack going down the front of the face. Now here is some more. Here's a painted on porcelain disc. Really, really, really quite lovely. Don't know if you could see but that one's an example of a good quality one. And here's another one, but you can see some scratches going throughout it. You would really want to try to avoid scratches, although they are inevitable. Some of them just do have little scratches. As long as it's not over the face and maybe like in a spot right there, inconspicuous, it's not as bad. Now these oversized large brooches with portraits on it, you can see a portrait of a lady on this one, this giant one, were generally in the 1860s and the 1870s. And up until around the 1880s or so, these oversized large ones would have went right in the collar area of a lady's dress. Now, some of them would have really elaborate necklaces also hanging down, and the brooch as well with matching earrings and stuff like that. But that's how you can generally tell an older one by the size. During the late 1890s and on, they got smaller and smaller. Okay, so watch the ending of my favorite movie of all time, Gone with the Wind, where at the end of the scene, it takes place just after the Civil War in the 1870s. And notice Scarlett O'Hara, after Rhett tells her to like basically pound sand and leaves her. Watch the cameo brooch around her neck, right around where I told you the collar line. And look how huge and massive it is.
You go. Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Those large, opulent brooches right around the neckline.
I can't let him go. I can't. There must be some way to bring him back. Oh, I can't think about this now. I'll go crazy if I do. I'll think about it tomorrow.
Look at that. Look at that big brooch.
But I must think about it. I must think about it. What is this? What is it that matters?
To tell me, Katie Scarlett O'Hara, that Tara doesn't mean anything to you? My man's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that lasts.
Something you love better than me, though you may not know it. Tara, it's this from which you get your strength. The red earth of Tara.
My man's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing that lasts.
Something you love better than me, though you may not know it. Tara, this from which you get your strength. The red earth of Tara.
My man's the only thing that matters.
Something you love better than me. The red earth of Tara.
Tara.
Tara. Tara.
I'll go home. And I'll think of some way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day.
All right, so I placed it on a beautiful rose gold rope chain, and it's not something Scarlett from Gone with the Wind would have done. She would have wore it at the neckline, but you could see the enormous, enormous, enormous size of this. This is something that would have definitely probably been worn by someone like Scarlett O'Hara during probably around the 1870s, my guess. Now, I am no expert, but you can see the different sizes during the Victorian era. Although the more opulent and large, the better. We have this, again, this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous brooch, along with its counterpart from the same seller. And I have it on a mannequin just so I can show you how actually large this is. Now, during the probably the early 20th century, about 1900 or so and on, things got smaller. They did not like these big gaudy Victorian things. But the cool part, this is 10 karat gold, rose gold. I gave it a rose gold rope chain. This is something you can actually still wear today, and you would get a lot of people asking you questions about it. It's a real conversation piece. Quite lovely. $90. I didn't want to pay that, but it turns out to be real gold. So actually, I did well. Now, again, if I was to sell this, I wouldn't sell it for less than $5, $6, $7, $800. You might say, well, that's not what the price it generally sells for on eBay. You are correct about that. But then again, in a really high-end antique online shop, or on one of those antique markets online like Etsy or Ruby Lane or First Dibs, you would definitely get the price for this. People would not even balk at it or not even complain about it because of its beauty and opulence and the fact that they have deeper pocketbooks than we do. Again, getting this for $90 was a real steal. On eBay, sellers generally, like especially resellers, will generally flip these pieces for probably $80 to $150. Although I do see some bid wars going for these type of pieces, there are definitely some bid wars. People do go sort of bananas over them. So thanks for watching. See you guys all soon, and so long.